So, something that I only really just realized is that there are some illnesses and diseases and disabilities, or whatever you want to, blah blah blah, that are, well, not something, this part I haven't just realized, but are treated with more importance or sympathy than others. There's a thing called invisible illnesses or disabilities, and they're ones that aren't overtly obvious. And those are things like medical conditions that affect things like energy level, or like, for example, I think it's hemophilia, is the one where your blood doesn't clot, so you can't get a scrape, you can't get a bruise or anything like that without possibly having to go to the hospital and get a blood donation, because your blood just won't clot, so that you'll just keep on bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. So that's something that you wouldn't, looking at a person, you couldn't tell that they had. And other ones, such as HIV or AIDS or whatever, really decreases your energy level, so you can't do as much, or a variety of illnesses do that. And then there's like lupus and Crohn's, for example. And there's a lot of, or people with back problems that don't need apparatuses or crutches or things like that. Basically, people only, when they think disability, they think people in a wheelchair, or maybe if they're walking with a cane or something. That's automatically what people think, but disability actually covers a lot more than that. Now, the thing that what I was talking about at the beginning, like something I never even thought about could be one till today, was asthma. Because when people hear you have asthma, it's just like, oh, that person has asthma, whatever. They don't realize it's a disease, it's a medical condition, and it can very well be a disability. And I have asthma, and I've never considered it this until I just saw this post about invisible diseases, and it put asthma along with things like hemophilia, lupus, and Crohn's, and HIV, and all this other stuff, and I was like, it's just asthma though, right? Is it though? Because the thing is too, another reason why I've always considered myself to be physically abled and without disability, physical disability, not mental. Anyways, because my limbs work fine, my skeleton works fine, my muscles work fine, so, and I mean, my senses work fine. Oh, I mean, my vision isn't perfect, but it's not even so severe that I can't see it, like everything is completely, like I can cope without my glasses. It's just things aren't quite as sharp as needed, especially if I'm going to be reading for a long time, or if I need to see far away, like if I'm driving or in class. Anyways, so I'm like, I don't have a disability, because nobody considers glasses a disability, obviously, because it's not much of one, unless you're like severely, but anyways, but yeah, asthma, because the thing is that when you think of what is a disability, it is a medical condition that has been diagnosed by a doctor or medical professional. Asthma checks that. It limits your abilities, in terms, you can't participate in the same sort of activities without, or if you can, you need something else to assist you, oftentimes in the form of something that has to be prescribed to you as an aid. Asthma does. And and you can't do as much, like, that works. And then this is the thing, like, there's a lot of stuff I can't do without my inhaler. I literally keep an inhaler in my pocket in case I need it. And sorry, my phone is going off. Oh, it's just an alarm. Okay. Anyways, so, and because the thing is too, is that I'm overweight. So, and while I'm nowhere near obese, I'm still overweight. So I have always had this idea in my head, even though I have been diagnosed with asthma, and I have been prescribed an inhaler, and I need to fill this prescription every month and a half, because I use my inhaler that much, especially now. It's gotten worse as time's gone on, but I'm pretty sure I know why, but I'll get into that maybe. I always just thought I was fat, and I always get so embarrassed when I get out of breath from doing something that no one else around me is getting out of breath from, such as maybe even just climbing the stairs. Because the thing is too, is that the environmental factors affect my asthma very much. So if it's a really humid day, I can barely do anything without getting out of breath. But if it's a really dry day, I can even run and not really need my inhaler that much. And also, like, what's in the air, because thing is that as someone with asthma, I can't handle heavy-duty cardio, and even what little cardio I can handle, I need my inhaler to do pretty much any cardio longer than a few seconds. And unless it's a humid day, then fucking any cardio. I can't be around things like mold or dust or perfume without either having trouble breathing or needing my inhaler or getting all the way to an asthma attack. So, or humidity. Sorry, there's another thing in there. So it affects my daily life very much so, because the thing is that I've had people tell me I just need to get in shape and I won't need the inhaler, and that it's just a temporary thing. My doctor hasn't really told me this. The best she has actually said is that it might improve if I get in shape. And I mean, it has in the past, because when I was in grade 12, I was, like the second semester, I was biking to school every day, but I still needed to use my inhaler at least once a day. At first it started, like, I needed to use my inhaler before biking to and biking home, and then after a while, I wouldn't need it biking home all the time, and then it was just in the morning I would need it, or just in the afternoon, unless it was a humid day, and whatever. So my lungs were improving while I was doing this cardio. But the thing is that the idea of getting fit is kind of stupid too, because I've been fit in different ways, because it's so hard for me to do cardio a lot of the time, and especially because as time has gone on, my asthma's just been getting worse and worse. So it's just, I want to lose weight and I want to be physically fit, but there's a lot of ways to do that. So I end up doing more strength training and stuff like that doesn't require as much cardio, but can still really have a lot of benefits on, your muscles, your overall health, your energy levels, and your decreased fat, cholesterol, blood pressure, all that shit. And I mean, if someone were to look at someone who just does strength training and they're like, oh, that person's perfectly healthy, but they might not actually be able to run. Or bike or whatever. Biking I find is easier than running, personally. I don't know why. So yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. And part of why my asthma has been getting worse, and it wasn't a problem when I was a kid, it only became a problem when I was a teenager, because when I was 14, my mom met this guy, and he smoked, and then she picked up smoking, and then the two of them were smoking in the house, and they got married, and they continued to do that. So throughout the majority of my teens, I was living in a house where smoking was a thing, and then that's when I started getting really bad asthma. And then when I moved out when I was 19, I was living downtown, so in a part of town where pretty much everyone smoked, and you couldn't go you couldn't walk 5 steps without being near a smoker. And also just there was a lot of, smog and stuff. And then now my parents have quit smoking, thankfully, and I'm living back with my parents, but I'm living in a dusty basement and a 45-year-old house. So it's not great for my lungs here. So as time's gone on, I've had more shit. I'm sure once I get out of this living environment, my asthma will improve, but at the time being, I'm having to use my inhaler a lot. But anyways, yeah, most people don't consider asthma to be that severe of a thing, and even if they do consider it, if you're overweight, they don't think it as much as the lungs. Because that's another thing too, like I said, I was overweight, right? I haven't always, since my having asthma and the diagnosis and getting the inhaler, first of all, when that happened, I wasn't overweight. I was perfectly healthy weight for my body type and muscular whatever. Like, I wasn't tiny, but I mean, I had a flat stomach, and I was in dance and whatever, and I was very healthy and stuff like that, but I still had asthma because my lungs were shit. So my body, when I was taking martial arts, I was very strong, and I was very, like, physically fit. You could see muscle definition all over me, and I was a lot thinner than I am right now, but my lungs were still shit, because the thing is that. So it's not, especially because I'm overweight, nobody, even when I say I need asthma or use an inhaler, people don't, even including myself, people don't always say, oh, that person has asthma. They're like, oh, that person's fat. So fat that they can't even climb a staircase. Oh my god. And it's really stupid. Another thing too that limits that I have asthma, so it's harder for me to do exercise, because there's fewer exercises that I can do easily, and especially if I end up getting sick or it's allergy season or something like that. Like right now I'm sick, and I don't know if you've noticed I've been taking a lot more deep breaths, even though I did take a puff of my inhaler before making this. So I'm sick. I'm just getting either the beginning of a cold or like, I don't know, I've been sneezing and coughing and my lungs feel like shit today, but anyways. But yeah, so like asthma is more of a thing that's bad than people realize. Like, it's so commonplace and so whatever that nobody even realizes that it's a medical condition, and it is a minor disability, but it is still a physical disability. It's obviously nowhere near some of the other as bad as some of the other ones, but that doesn't. It's like saying that having seasonal affective disorder isn't a mental illness because it's not as bad as bipolar 1 or something like that, because it's still a mental illness. And for those who don't know what that is, it's basically you get depressed in the wintertime most commonly, but some people have it for summertime. Okay, I'm gonna go back to lying down. I shouldn't even be doing this while I'm unwell, but I'm feeling better right now than I was feeling all day from lying down and resting and sleeping all day, so hopefully that continues. Thanks for watching.